special. Bye-bye. Here for a fight?
I don't have a target.
Howdy.
Right.
How are you?
I'm alright, I guess. Dylan's pretty sick, and I definitely did not feel great last night, so. But I don't think I am to the point of where Dylan's at. He's got a high fever.
I hope you guys feel better.
Yeah? What are you up to?
Nothing real. Just watch on YouTube.
Yeah? You never played World of Warcraft, did you?
No, but I know someone who has.
Have you ever been interested?
Nope.
The new update has been pretty fun, pretty good. I used to have a ton of people to play with, and now I have nobody to play with. It's kind of sad. Even if I was willing to, you know, pay your subscription, buy you an account, I still can't get people to play with.
Nah, I probably wouldn't play. I really don't think I would be all that much interested in World of Warcraft. I think it's just too many button inputs for me. I need simplified.
Well, there are power classes with less buttons. But the one with the least amount of buttons would be Hunter by far. And then you just go Beastmaster and you just have pets.
Yeah. I've never really had any interest in those type of the way that those games look. I'd rather watch some people play them. Like, I'd watch people play Rust all the time, but there's no way I'd play Rust.
Yeah, I got an event to start a little bit today. There was no event or anything going on, so I was like, eh. I was waiting for one because after it happens, then you could do the super boss. So if there's no super boss up, I don't really. Because those are the only ways I can get tier 9 weapons or 9-star weapons. Anything else new?
Like, no, just me thinking for hours on end, but not about a little story, but nothing else really. Nothing really new. Other than it seems like my entire scholarship might be paid for. Well, not scholarship, tuition.
How'd you find that out?
My mother told me.
And why? What's the reason?
Because I think it's because of the FAFSA and the regular and some other scholarship that they're handing out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the full logistics of it, since I don't have it.
Do you know the degree you want to go, or?
No, nothing's really.
Nothing. So just kind of knocking out the important classes while you figure it out, kind of thing.
Yeah, not knocking out all the basic classes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean.
Like fine arts.
Yeah, you knock out all the classes and you're like, oh, you know, I want to do this, and that's all you gotta do, you know. So. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know why you need to do a fine arts class in college. I think it's kind of stupid to do a fine arts class, because to me, fine arts, especially in today's world, is really very useless. Because most of the time, this upcoming generation doesn't care a whole lot about theater. They care about music, but the thing is, if you want to ask what their favorite playlist is and what author they made, yeah, they're gonna tell you, but they're not gonna give a crap unless they're really into it about all the types of music throughout the years.
Right.
And then for art, art's all over the place. People, I mean, I certainly don't have any appreciation for any of the stone marble statues I've seen or any of the other pieces of art, because it's all beauty to the eye of the beholder. And to this upcoming generation, probably upcoming more generations, they probably care more about the culture aspect of it and how it looks. So
yeah, understandable.
Bye-bye.
there's just many things that kind of need to be updated that haven't been updated in years. For example, math classes. I don't know how to do long division by hand. Do you know how to do long division by hand?
How long?
Let's just say 1,000.
If I put a little bit of thought, yeah, I could. wouldn't be easy.
Would it be faster? Would it be faster for you to put it into the calculator on your phone that you're always carrying with you?
10,000%. Yeah.
So, just about anyone who is anyone is able to easily get a phone with like at least not it won't be all that smart, but maybe around $300, just a really cheap and basic one. And it can easily do those type of calculations.
Well, remember,
So
when we were growing up, there wasn't, like internet and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, for you guys. But now for me, I'm able to put any calculus problem I want into a calculator on the web. Just there's like a few 30 different websites that I could go use, put in the problem, and bam, I have the answer. So instead of, because that's kind of just how everything's going nowadays. Even software coding is sort of being easily utilized by ChatGPT. Because you can ask ChatGPT to write you a code that does this. You might have to tweak it just a tiny bit to fit with what you're looking for. So many things are changing, and the curriculum is not able to really handle
Yeah.
handle what's coming up. Because they're trying to teach us to do these math problems mainly sort of by hand a little bit. And to me, that's kind of just really a waste of everyone's time, because once I leave that class, I'm just going to immediately put whatever problem I have into a calculator and get the answer I want.
That's fair.
What is a better method to do for math class is identifying what type of calculations you need to do for said math problem and not knowing how to do it by hand, but trusting that the calculator will be able to do it and you know how to put it into a calculator.
Hmm.
Because my teacher, whenever I had her for pre-cal, I didn't want to do calculus because I made a C. And if I made a C in pre-cal, I was not gonna do well without within calculus. She wanted me to show my work, and that was just to me nowadays that's kind of useless because it's just going to be done everything by hand,
Right.
not by hand but by calculator. It doesn't need to be done by hand anymore. We invent things to make our lives easier. We're we have gas stoves and electric stoves. Very few of us are having to create a fire by hand. All they have to do is just turn a little nozzle. So that curriculum part needs to change. Science, I don't really know how to change that because, like, all honesty, if you're interested in it, you might remember a bit of it. But if you have no interest in it whatsoever, you can trust that this generation and upcoming generations is just going to go ahead and forget about it within a month.
Hmm.
I noticed from what I've talked to, my grandfather's generation, they are able to retain a lot more of what they learned compared to my generation.
Yeah.
They've retained a lot more of what they've learned, but they don't have as much technical use technical ability that this generation has,
Yep.
and
But they
maybe
were more
logical thinking.
logical.
Yeah.
We're all Typical emotion.
Yeah. And then to your generation, which would be my father's generation, you guys are sort of more, I guess, kind of a good transition period, feeling like good hard working, and then coming to my generation, within a month, I would not be able to know how to do that calculation or try to, if you tested me again on that test I made 100 on, I would probably fail
This
it.
is the
I
new
would fail it
patch for the first season of the game, and we got a lot of changes.
because I
Number
wouldn't
one,
remember.
everything is worse. Number
Because
two,
over the
everything
years,
is
I've
harder.
learned
Number
that
three,
I have a very
everything
good
you were
short-term
doing,
memory,
now
but that's
you have
about
to
it.
work harder to do it again. Number four, leveling slower. Number five,
So,
hell tides worse.
this is the things
Damage
that are
reduction
different.
reduced. Vulnerability gutted.
I couldn't
Now,
tell you
obviously,
what
there
I
have been,
learned
some
in
really big
high
problems
school.
in the game, like resistances
I
not working,
wouldn't,
people running out of
within
storage space,
maybe 2 years,
necromancers
I
not
wouldn't
having a
even
viable
really
minion
remember what the
build,
names
you know, characters
of the
not being fun to play at the
formulas or
early
anything
game.
like that
Rest
were,
assured,
because
none of
that
those things are
information
fixed.
is
None of
useless
that's
to me.
fixed. So
But my
somebody actually showed a
grandfather,
video
on my
about
mother's
how the new
side, is
sorcerer
able
unique
to remember
works.
it all the way from
Gain the
7th
effect of
grade.
teleport enchantment for free. When you evade using
And
teleport
he's in his
enchantment, you are
70s.
taken to a random location. Okay, here we go.
Steel's so sweet you can smell him a
So
mile
just
away.
used it.
One of the reasons why I don't need to remember
And
it,
it looks like he is in Baldur's Gate.
and that saves rooms
And,
for other
you know, kind
things,
of a
is
unique
because I could
thing. A lot
easily
of
look
games
it
don't
up.
have that, and now Blizzard does. So very, very cool.
Look it up on the internet in any way I want.
You got a nose for a good deal.
That's just my overall opinion of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 9:02 for me now. I have to go take a shower. I'll talk for maybe a couple more minutes, but then I'll go take a shower,
Gotcha.
maybe chat with other people for a few minutes, and then get off for the night. So what else? Is there anything else you really want to talk about, lad?
Nothing in particular that I can think of.
Alright. I'll go check up on how some other people are doing.
Okay.
I'll see you later, man.
See you, buddy.
Bless you, friend. Don't put your nose where it don't belong.
Patch 1.1. This is the new patch for the first season of the game, and we got a lot of changes. Number one, everything is worse. Number two, everything is harder. Number three, everything you were doing, now you have to work harder to do it again. Number four, leveling slower. Number five, hell tides worse. Damage reduction reduced. Vulnerability gutted. Now, obviously, there have been like some really big problems in the game, like resistances not working, people running out of storage space, necromancers not having a viable minion build, you know, characters not being fun to play at the early game. Rest assured, none of those things are fixed. None of that's fixed. So somebody actually showed a video about how the new sorcerer unique works. Gain the effect of a teleport enchantment for free. When you evade using teleport enchantment, you are taken to a random location. Okay, here we go. So he just used it.
Hello.
And it looks like he is in Baldur's Gate 3. And, you know, kind of a unique thing. A lot of games don't have that, and now Blizzard does. So very, very cool.
Is it time already? May time be kind to you. Time reveals all. Time is of the essence.
I don't have a target. I need a target.
I see we have a powerful foe before us. Defeat it! We now stand in the midst of a never-ending battle between Horde and Alliance. This Timeway never saw an occasion for the two to come together. So they ripped the planet apart with their ceaseless war. We must keep fighting too. It is time to untangle the Timeways.
What's this guy on about? The Pantheon system in the game, bro. It's the Paragon system, and the Paragon system's shallow as dude. And it's interesting to hear some of these people's points, because often they make some good points, and often they make some completely brain-dead trash points that would literally do the opposite of what they're saying. They make the game even worse. I feel like this guy doesn't even understand what he's talking about. Yo, what's this? What's this?
Alright, the title is pretty accurate, and I'm definitely about to clown on Diablo 4 kind of a lot, but that being said, people can enjoy and play whatever they want. It's not a bad game, strictly speaking. There are good parts, I'll try to also make sure to mention those. But every time I play Diablo 4, I catch myself thinking more than once in every single session, why is it
That's
like
not
this?
affect your life,
Why
right?
don't I just go play Path of Exile? For starters, this is a $70 game with microtransactions. I want everyone to remember that as a community review, because that matters. $70 with expensive microtransactions. Fun, and you don't care, but why don't I just play Path of Exile then? Unlike Diablo 4, it's free, and with $70 I can buy plenty of discounted cosmetics and utility items, or even better than Diablo 4. Great stuff. In the background right now, there's some footage of a road.
What do you mean? I guess he's talking about utility items. I mean stash tabs. It must be stash tabs, right?
Started leveling, but it's not exactly where I want it to be. Long way to go, of course. I really do enjoy the gameplay at times, so it's easy to get sucked in and keep playing dungeons for like one continuous session, but the reason I play games like this, really boiling it down to the absolute minimum, is to make character builds and get loot. Games like Diablo 4 are fundamentally about those two things, builds and loot. What you get for loot determines how you can build, and how you build determines how fast and how much you can get for loot, and if you can ascend through the difficulties and continue to get the better. It's a binary cycle, and it's pretty fun.
Okay.
Diablo 4 pulls it off acceptably well. Genuinely, it does. But when you look at these two systems apart from each other, and then look at the ways that they interact with one another, things kind of start to unravel. Diablo 4 progression basically goes like this. What you do from level 1 to level 60 doesn't really matter. That's just leveling. 60 or 70 to like 90 or so is mid-game, and after that you get towards end-game. Some people have different definitions of early, mid, and late game. They say that mid-game is really about 45 onwards to 80, but you get the point. Early, mid, late as general.
Late game is World Tier 4, bro. I'm sorry, but no, nothing changes past World Tier. Once you get to World Tier 4, that's it. You're in the end game, that's it. Once you're in World Tier 4, that's it, which is like level 65, right? It's 65.
Units where early is just a grind fest to get something functional. Mid-game is a refinement of some kind of build, and late game is grinding content to perfect rolls on gear. Early game is pretty fun. You start scavenging for gear, learning what the unique bonuses do from the different items, putting something together on the fly, maybe playing with medics, and feeling the basic curve of power progression. It's enjoyable. At least it has been for me a couple of times, but you very quickly start running into problems. See, early game is genuinely fun. The story is good, the combat is good, the progression feels nice, and that sort of a piece of candy mentality is really fresh on your mind, so you just feel good about playing. However, as soon as you get into mid-game, it throws you a curveball. For starters, you only have 4 stash tabs. This is interesting, and they will, of course, sell you stash tabs in the future.
No, they won't. No, they won't. If they do that, everyone's gonna riot. If they do that, everyone's gonna riot. They won't. They will not sell stash tabs. No, they're gonna add it in. It's season rewards and shit like that. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna do.
Price tag in a $70 game that also has microtransactions, but
I will fucking rage out. I will angrily tweet at Blizzard, and I will complain incessantly for days. Okay, if they sell stash tabs while buying them, by the way, I will buy them. But no, seriously, I don't think that. That'd be a PR optics nightmare.
I catch myself thinking, why don't I just play Path of Exile? At least there I can actually keep the gear I want to. Some people might say, oh, well, you're just nitpicking here, but no, I'm not. Diablo 4 has a lot of interesting gear. That's one of the best aspects of the game. I want to collect it. That's the purpose. That's the whole point of the game, but I can't really collect it because I don't have the space to collect it. All the gems, which don't have their own tab, take up a large chunk of my stash capacity, and this kind of terrible loot management extends to every facet of the game. There's no search function for the stash, like there is in Path of Exile. They doubled up and keep 2 of the most critical consumable items, of which you will want to hoard many of them, by the way, over the course of your playtime, those being elixirs and sigils, in the same sub-inventory slot, so you constantly have to play this mini-game of hot potato if you actually want to maintain a hoard of loot. And they don't have any sort of quick drop function, so if you ever get in the thick of it for a dungeon and need to make rapid decisions about inventory or what to carry, you can't even do that quickly because you have to drag things physically around like a moron with the inventory open. Now, for build functionality, I had a lot of fun. Okay,
What?
it might be surprising to hear, but I did for a bit.
Wait, what? I spaced out. Wait, I spaced out. What did he? Wait, is he talking about moving? I'm sorry, I spaced out. I'm going back.
Actually want to maintain a hoard of loot, of which you will want to hoard many of them, by the way, over the course of your playtime.
Okay.
Those being elixirs and sigils.
So that's
in the
separate
same
tab, yeah.
sub-inventory slot. So you constantly have to play
you
this
find
mini-game of
anything
hot potato
exotic,
if you actually
bring
want to
it.
maintain a hoard of loot. And they don't have any sort of quick drop function, so if you ever get in the thick of it for a dungeon and need to make rapid decisions about inventory or what to carry, you can't even do that quickly because you have to drag things physically around like a moron with the inventory open. Now, for
They need to drag weight, not like a moron. They need to add more weight. There's a lack of weight in Diablo 4. It's the opposite. Wait, there's nothing wrong with dragging things around.
What
Inventory
is your
Tetris
hurry?
is great. It's supposed to feel the weight, bro. There's a lack of weight in this game. Yeah, the stash tab ain't big enough for sure, but like having an infinite fucking bag of quick inventory auto stash bullshit, that's way worse.
For
bro.
build functionality, I had a lot of fun. Okay, it might be surprising to hear, but I did for a bit. For a little bit. After that, I realized something. Why was I spending time trying to find creative ways to use this skill tree right here, when I could have access to this one? Once again, the question loomed in my head, why don't I just play Path of Exile? To be fair, I like the Pantheon system in Diablo 4. It's interesting, it's fun to creep across the board, and the abundance of points can make it super satisfying to unlock secondary bonuses and piece together
I
functional
am back.
damage.
Not for long though.
No, because if you want to reset something significant way back in the tree,
Fuck is this guy
Yeah,
on
they're
about?
doing
The
good.
fucking
They're getting
Pantheon
ready to head
system
off
in
to
the
sleep.
game, bro. It's a Paragon system, and the Paragon system is fucking shallow as fuck.
For
dude.
them,
towards actual
I talked
endgame,
about
you have to
dreams.
It's Paragon system's like definition
Some
of
of the
something that's
dreams
like
I had.
overcomplicated, but also at the same time overly. It's super simple. It's like it's actually
about
so
it.
fucking bad. It's actually
Simple
so bad.
conversation.
It's like it's literally like.
In fact, after I left, they
confusing,
both got
but then
off.
Actually, really basic. And it's like the opposite of whatever I feel like Blizzard's mentality is. I thought Blizzard's mentality is like, oh, it's super easy to get into and like ultra easy to understand, but there's actually a lot of depth there.
said practically everything. Why would I play a game
Yeah.
with less content, less convenience, less customization, and less quality of life for 10 times the price tag with less capacity
What
to
are
be
you currently
completely
doing?
undefined?
Playing
That
World of
question
Warcraft,
was
watching
getting
YouTube.
pretty hard for me to answer. Like I said, early game was fun because everything felt
Bam,
friendly.
Because
Wow.
variety, bro. Because you want to play more than one game. You don't want to just play PoE all the fucking time. You'd be if you want to play PoE, you'd be playing PoE right now, but you're not. Okay, dude. Like, what the fuck?
New.
There can be like there's plenty of things.
And
that
here's
D4
the funny
that you
thing,
can do
the
that you
person
can't do in
on
fucking
the other
PoE,
server I went
that's
off
for
to
sure,
chat
okay?
for a little bit
Now, it's
also
like,
asked
for sure,
me
do I see
about
myself
WoW.
playing D4 more than PoE?
That's 3
no, I
people
think
that
I'm
have
gonna be
asked
playing
me
more
about
PoE 'cause
WoW
I
so
think the game's
far.
more replayable, has more engaging in-game, has more engaging character development, and like the whole journey of your character. It's just better to play for long periods of time. But
Says
do I
something
still
about
think I'm
Drakon,
not gonna have done
Drakor,
D4? Fuck no, I'm still gonna log in a
becoming
D4.
a warlock or
I'm hoping that
something,
they're
I
gonna
don't
get to the
know.
point where it's like was like better than D3.
wants to
Because in
make
D3
what?
they'll be like, yeah, it was fun to play
No,
the
he
game
talked
for
about
like a
something
week or
like
whatever,
it's Trek
right?
War or
Every
something like
season,
that.
You log in for a week. It
I
was
know
good.
what to
It was
do.
a good time.
What
now,
is the
that
problem?
contrast
I mean,
back
there's,
to the,
like,
the early seasons when they were adding
13
fuck tons of
classes or
content to the
whatever.
game and doing lots of big shit.
They
Okay,
have
it
one
was
of
fun for months.
all
now,
their
I'm
favorites.
hoping D4
Oh,
will
no,
do
one
that,
of
right?
them's
Where they
max
just slam in
level.
so
I
much
could get the other
content,
one's
so much
max
new
level
shit
since they
that's
have rest
interesting
dex
and that you want to
speed,
fuck
which
around
gives
with,
you
that you want to
double
try,
XP on
that'll make the game
kills.
fun to play for like a month plus. But we'll literally have to see. We'll literally have to see, right? But that I feel like that's the main draw
I
to
just
me.
don't
It's
know
like
which alt
another
I wanna
AIPG
level.
that isn't dog shit, that has variety, has new content, has new stuff. I mean, shit.
Which is a
Have you
completely
come for a
intoxicating feeling for
challenge?
me as a video game player, likewise true for most other people out there. But when going through mid-game into end-game on my first character, the honeymoon phase ended unceremoniously. For example, there's a lot of basic components on the map organized nicely into their own little list on the side of your inventory. And at first that's cool. The UI is not great,
Yes,
but it's
I
fine.
can
So
help.
there's
Yeah, that's currently a meta
know
shift.
I
You
can.
understand? That's how like World of Warcraft expansions go. They go through their like honeymoon phase where everyone's like, oh my god, World of Warcraft's amazing, and then all of a sudden it goes to this fucking thing where like, wait, wow, bad, and then everyone's like, wow, why is WoW so bad? And right now D4 is in that, like they went through that phase and now they're in the D4 bad phase. It's just a little meta right now, and it's interesting to hear some of these people's points because often they make some good points and often they make some completely brain dead trash points that would literally
Walk into any other
do the
bronze
opposite of what they're
dragonflight
saying. They
area.
make the game even worse, right? So it's interesting to hear what people are saying.
components, whatever, big what.
Oh.
Because you don't really do any respecking or rolling. You don't see the significance here. You don't even pay attention to that. As soon as you start, yeah,
I'm gonna
things
go
get
ahead and take a
expensive.
shower.
And a
Really
lot of
good
those
night, man.
actual material
too, man.
types are just completely left behind.
Wow.
There's no point to them. It made me wonder, why am I playing this game when Path of Exile has an orb currency system tied
I
directly
shall
into
test
a
your
massive crafting
mettle.
function where things
Do you
always
wish
maintain
to
value
prove
and
yourself
practical usage
worthy of
in
Tyr's
an economy
invention?
that facilitates
Then
trade
join
and
me once
cooperation?
more
Yeah,
for
I
a
must
new
admit, the Path of
challenge.
Exile currency system is so fucking
Seek
amazing.
out my
You gotta
statue
admit,
in the
it is so
Onaran
fucking good.
Plains,
The fact that the currencies
and I shall
are
reveal your
valuable
next
because
trial.
they are useful and based on the balancing of those items or the crafting methods currently in the game, that they'll fluctuate in price. Is so interesting, right? Like some leagues you don't need exalts that much and the price goes down massively. Or some leagues you need them first. Like I remember Metamod crafting league. What was it? Legion. So expensive. And you know, it's one of these things where I feel like the currency system of PoE is fucking genius. It's genius. You don't get that awful like inflation feeling of something feeling like worth nothing. Maybe on a transmute, but you know, it really is good. It really is genius.
Yeah, Diablo 4 basically does not have a player economy. It's supposed to, it says it does, but it doesn't. That's fine for solo self-found fans or players, but for someone like me who loves trading with other players of the game and buying or selling in a player-driven economy of sorts,
Log in to
that
Discord.
sucks. Why would I play this game when it quite obviously is unfinished?
Log into Discord,
I
bro.
hope they make something functional to facilitate a player-driven economy, which doesn't
Log into
really
Discord.
exist right now. We want to talk about general player cooperation because the game is supposed to have MMO-type elements to it. It does exist in Diablo 4, it's just broken. The cooperation you find is boosting and leeching, because people can just enter an instance,
Who
have
would do
someone else
that?
kill the entire dungeon for them basically instantaneously, and get everything immediately. I'm not saying I don't want there to be some sort of motivation for
I
higher
don't know,
level
it's a guy like
players
that.
to help out lower level
but
ones.
I don't know, it's a guy
That's
like
all
that,
well and
bro.
good. Or some kind of power fantasy where you can get boosted a bit by your buddy who happens to have a badass build, but the total support of leeching and boosting is just way too far and doesn't make sense. This is like the basic framework of a game that just isn't complete yet. Maybe polished is a better word here, and that's okay, because it just came out. But is it okay, though? Is it really okay? It's a $70 game with microtransactions that you'll have to buy utility for, like stash tabs. Is that okay? Really? A good example of what I'm talking about is dungeon design. Basically, every dungeon is the
I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is, ultimately. That's what it is. It is, wait, no, it is what it is. Is it okay? No, really, okay, wait, so go back. Let's reset. Okay, you guys are spacing out.
who happens to have a badass build, but the total support of
I feel like the whole boosting thing, basically they've designed the game for couch co-op. They've designed the game to be played where you can play with a high-level character with a low-level character. So there is always going to be like a fucking thing where people can kind of boost each other. And that's just fundamentally part of their game design. Now, that's dog shit, and it's trash, and I fucking hate that. And I hate the scaling. I hate the fucking, the normalization of your levels and the way that works. Because it makes like in-game content not really feel like in-game content if there's like a level fucking, 5 in your group, whatever. Okay, but who cares? They fixed this just by adding an SSF tag into the game, and you're good to go. Anyone who's fucking not dog shit just plays SSFW. It's just a better way to play the game anyway. Log in.
leeching and boosting is
Or if you don't care about SSF, well then guess what? You can also just not care about boosting, and then. But now, if you're a person who cares about this stuff like that, well then you can play SSF. It's pretty simple. But who is competitive that plays Trade League? No, if you play Trade League, it's fucking meme, dude. You're playing sandbox mode. Literally nobody cares about Trade League. Like Trade League is a fucking meme setup. It's a meme setup. No one fucking get. Dude, Mathil doesn't care about Trade League. Mathil just likes to play Trade League because it's fun. Do you think Mathil would care if people could boost? Bro, you can fucking boost. You can get Legion boosts. You can get Legion boosts in PoE. You can get boosted characters in PoE. You can get a character from 0 to 100 in a day, or even less than that. Havoc, level 100, speed run. Apparently in 1 hour.
Okay,
You can get a level 100 in 1 hour. Okay? I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a fully functioning group of autistic destroys the entire Legion from the full amounts. They will monetize the game to the maximal amount until people stop, until it's not worth, until they start losing money doing it, right? They will always maximally monetize. I mean, look at Diablo fucking Immortal, or Diablo Immortal, my bad.
basically every
We will
dungeon
do
is
this
the same.
together.
Grab 2 or 3 things
I think
scattered
that went
around,
well.
or kill a set of monsters, unlock a door, go kill the main boss, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Well, they split the things that you have to gather or kill or whatever it is into separate locations around the first part of the dungeon, but there's no map overlay. So you have to keep spam opening the map every couple of seconds to see where you've gone and where you have to go next.
In this clip here, you have no.
This results in a lot of backtracking. And
Yeah,
yeah, it becomes second
doing
nature
it.
after a while to flash the map every 2 seconds, but just because
not
I'm
doing-
used to it doesn't
You haven't flashed the map a single time in this video, bro.
make it good design. And I found myself asking, yet again, why don't I just go play Path of Exile?
I went in on the fence with this, and I can tell you now, after playing Diablo 4, I can thoroughly say the map overlay is a fucking meme, and you don't need it. I don't think it. I think there's.
But it was enjoyable. Diablo
You guys understand I'm not 0 to 7, right? You guys understand I'm literally not 0 to 7, right? You understand that's like you guys understand I'm like 4 out of 7. Well, no, technically like 7 out of 7, but my character that would have been able to easily trivialize all the bosses died to a fucking literal server disconnection. My stream was fine, everything was GG server shooting the bed. Yeah, so I'm 7 out of 7 theoretically. Let's be honest.
Diablo 4 Hardcore
Death elixirs, and then they would remove Stalker Sheet Death, and then they'd slightly nerf damage output on some of the bosses. I would say, fucking current year of gaming, like literally you can